joining us here today, but also joining us live, quickly, right off the jump, in the middle of about 15 other things. Senior NFL insider for ESPN, Adam Schefter.
Hey,
Schefty, hey, I know we're working. Waddle just got traded to the Broncos. A first-round pick is also being moved. Feels like a massive morning for the NFL. Did we see this coming? Did we know this was going to happen? And how did we get here?
Well, I think that there have been soft talks here for a while going on between the two teams. And over the course of the last 10 days, the talks ramped up some to the point where, obviously, this morning, both teams feel comfortable enough to move ahead where Denver makes its first move of free agency. The Broncos had been the only team out there not to sign a single free agent. And today, they pull off a trade for Jaylen Waddle, a wide receiver. Essentially, when you boil it down with all the picks involved, it's Waddle for a 1 and a 3. That's the trade where he goes to Denver. Waddle now teams up with Cortland Sutton to give the Broncos a pick. But they are loaded with picks here in the upcoming draft. They are really starting to add a lot of ammunition. They have 4 third-round picks, 2 first-round picks, and then obviously they have more players that they could potentially wind up dealing. I think a lot of people will wonder, could Devon Achane here be had for a certain amount of compensation? I'm sure the Dolphins would listen on anybody right now. Why wouldn't they in the mode that they're in? If they're willing to deal Waddle, clearly they have to be at least open-minded about virtually any other player on their roster. It's a new head coach in Jeff Hafley, a new general manager in John Eric Sullivan, and clearly they're going to do things their way. They're going to start to rebuild. They're going to do things over. They're going to make their mark their way, and there you have it. They, being the Dolphins, as one of 5 teams that now have double ones next month, so they're in a great position.
Okay, we'll just assume they'll make the right decision with the double ones. You know, everybody that has 2 ones has made such great moves. We assume that they'll make the right decisions whenever it comes time to do that. Like the Jets have 2 and 16, a bunch of picks. Yeah, they'll make the right one, right? New guys in charge over there, I heard. Everybody, a new guy's in charge, got all the say, doing whatever he wants to do. Browns, they'll make the right one, right?
Yeah. On the up and up.
Yes, they will. Chiefs, we assume, right? Yeah, they will. Yeah. Cowboys, Jerry, he'll be in his bag.
For sure.
And now the Dolphins, we don't know much about the new crew. We know they come from the Packers. We know they're looking to build this in their own way. It was a mass exodus here now from the Miami Dolphins we had just known of. Obviously, McDaniel, head coach, he's gone. He's with the Chargers. Tua, he's gone. He's not the only one, though. I mean, you got Jason Sanders, Alec Ingold, Larry Bohr, Cole Strange, and then let alone Minka Fitzpatrick was traded away. I mean, there is full clean out. You go back a couple years, Jonnu Smith. Jalen was down there.
Yeah.
It's been a full on. So there's a lot of trust. Like, hey, you can rebuild this however the hell you want. Basically happening in Miami. Is that how this?
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, like, you're in a division with Josh Allen and Drake May, and another team in the New York Jets that has half the first round picks over the next 2 years. So if you're the Miami Dolphins, you might as well stick to a plan and apply that thinking and follow through on it. And really, they're not going to win the division this year. Breaking news, right? So you might as well start gearing up for 2027 and beyond. Now, Jaylen Waddle, obviously, you're listening again. And the trade gets done this morning. The agreement gets made. Waddle's on his way to Denver. And all I could think of is, Sean Payton's been looking for more playmakers on offense this entire time. Jokers, as he likes to call them. And Jaylen Waddle is certainly capable of making the kinds of plays that Denver's been looking for. It's a big-time trade that the Broncos have made here to add a big-time playmaker. And like I said, they finally get on the free agent board.
We were scrolling the internet, and I believe Bruce saw, as he was scrolling through, Jaylen Waddle, phenomenal against zone. I guess he does most yards target versus zone coverage in 2025. Devontae Smith, he's pretty good. JSN, Puka, Jaylen Waddle, and George Pickens. All those guys had years. Now, Devontae Smith being up there, fascinated, because I thought Jalen Hurts could throw. That's what everybody says. So him at the top of that is pretty crazy. Him understanding the zone coverage and who to get to. But having a zone beater in your arsenal is certainly a good thing. Now, Schefter, we know you're probably in the middle of about 1,000 different things. If new news breaks, you can certainly jump off and do whatever you have to do. Final question on this particular situation, though, would then be the other wide receivers that are maybe on the move. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, Schefter, it was reported that the Broncos were in on A.J. Brown with the Eagles trade. Was that true? Obviously, now that's off the table. And then are all the reports also a fact that it's going to be a post-June 1, or could you see it getting done during the draft?
Denver, I never heard, was involved in any talks with A.J. Brown at all. I think they've been talking to the Dolphins here, like I said, for a while, but over the last 10 days, it's amped up. And then A.J. Brown is in a situation where the money is such that if the Eagles are going to trade him, it makes sense to do it post June 1. And that doesn't mean they couldn't make a trade before then. They certainly could. But it would be more likely to happen then. The problem then is that there are going to be teams that use up their cap space. There are going to be teams that draft wide receivers in the first round. There are going to be teams that fill that need. And all of a sudden, those teams that have a need at that time might not have as great a need. Now, somebody could get hurt during training camp. Somebody could decide their wide receiver room is not as deep as they thought. This league is always changing. We know that. But I think the idea of an A.J. Brown trade from now till the draft, even right after the draft, probably less likely than more likely, but always possible.
Yeah, one team might miss out on a guy they thought they were going to be able to draft to, so they have to go to A.J. Brown. A lot of wide receivers over there in Denver for Sean Payton. We know he likes offense. We know he likes scheming things up. He certainly would like to make Bo Nix's life a lot easier coming off of that horrendous ending to a season.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Let's take a moment about how heartbreaking that was. Remember the win. Remember the win.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Over the Bills.
We are,
Yeah.
what a win.
In OT.
And then Sean's got to come back out with that Montana.
Yep.
Just gone off Kevin Costner's ranch. Walks out there. Guy broke his leg.
It's always going to happen.
There aren't many stories where you go, wait, is this real? Like Max Crosby, the trade reverting, that was the first time since Bo Nix breaking his ankle. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
He did what? Is this real? Like, is this really? This happened? And
I just watched him give an interview. He was miserable.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he should have been a little happy. Yeah, you're right. And what a good call with the Max Crosby thing. There was a lot of that. You're in the middle of it all, too. So these are real. Yeah, it's crazy. Last question. Because the Denver Broncos have so many wide receivers, go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Shefty, we just talked about how all the wide receivers that they have now. They go in 6 deep, at least, of guys that you know. Is there any chance Pat Bryant, Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims could be traded now with the addition of Waddle?
Yeah, I see that. Like, when you look at that list, you know, they could carry 6, 7 wide receivers on their roster. And the way the practice squads are built these days, you know, there are always guys, you know, little Jordan Humphrey's been productive, but he's floated around. Michael Bandy's been productive. He's floated around. You know, guys, teams use practice squads now almost as like a place to stash a player and then bring him up if there's an injury. And there are always injuries in the league. And so I look at that as being a strong, deep roster. I don't look at that as them saying, okay, now let's go trade Troy Franklin or Marvin. I don't see that way. Marvin Mims has value in the return game. Troy Franklin played with Bo Nix in college. Pat Bryant's emerging. Cortland Sutton's a team leader and as popular a guy as there is out there. Jaylen Waddle's the new guy on the block. I don't see them shopping one of these guys, but who knows?
Anything else going to happen today or tomorrow or anything like that? You watching World Baseball Classic tonight?
I haven't watched it. I got to be honest with you. I apologize. Not to be anti-American. I just
Kind of.
been busy.
He's been busy.
Yeah. Okay. You can't put the phones down for maybe 9 innings, 3 innings. Watch the boys do their thing.
You can, but usually not for baseball. With all due respect.
Agree. Hey, completely agree. Actually,
Different now.
This shit's different. Wait, you should watch tonight. I'm assuming that tonight's going to be bananas. I wish you would have watched though against the Dominican Republic. It was a home run derby lineup for Dominican Republic. We had defense playing. Aaron Judge is diving over the place, gunning people down. We had home runs being robbed by people. Skeens was on the mound at one. I mean, it was. Look at his throw. Shefty, that's Aaron Judge. He's the one.
Yep.
That's Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, that is the throw. That's a big time.
Yeah, Shefty, that's good play-by-play by you. Maybe you should check that out tonight. Maybe you should check
Watch out, Joe Buck. Watch out, Joe Buck.
Adam Amin, I think, was on the call for this game.
Was it?
It was Joe.
I know he did the
Joe Davis.
Yeah, it was Joe Davis and John Smoltz. But Amin was on the call a couple games ago when Venezuela hit the late home run. He was the one who called it.
Yeah. Did you see? You should see Tugboat too. I think you'd fall in love with the game if you saw Tugboat. Last question.
Ty looks like he's ready for tonight.
Goddamn right,
Yep.
Shefty.
He's already how many Guinnesses, Ty? How many?
This is still just one. You know, it kind of tastes like coffee right now. So I'm kind of, once I get past that and it starts actually tasting like a beer, then that's when you kind of
Connor's got batting gloves on.
Yeah, happy St. Patty's. Yeah, he's ready to take a hack if he needs
Just
be.
in case.
Happy St. Patty's, Schefter. We got a keg here of Guinness right in the middle just to showcase like we get the spirit of what's happening. Ty is enjoying. Foxy cracked one open because he's a bit of a booze bag himself there early. And now we're just kind of celebrating the happiness. And anytime, the Irish people can say, hey, have a good time on us, well, we're certainly going to promote it. Let's talk about another quick little story that before you have to get out of here. Are the Rams trading Devontae?
No, they just paid him a $6 million roster bonus on Sunday. The $6 million roster bonus was paid to him on Sunday. So, I mean, you're not paying a $6 million bonus and then moving the guy the next day. So that's not happening anytime soon. No.
You're the best. Thank you for just kind of sorting out all the stuff we see on the internet.
Because there's a lot.
So much. And with how good AI's getting. Jeez, Louise, you don't know what's real. What is that, Schefter or Scheffner?
That's right.
Yeah.
You never know.
Schefter 2-0.
There's only one of you, bud. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, bud.
Yeah.